Hello, and welcome back to the Holistic Frugivore Podcast, where I guide you to learn how to heal your body from within, mind, body, and soul. My name is Jess, and I am your host. And today we are going to talk about the 4 basic processes of your body's digestion. And we spoke last time about self-responsibility, and nope, that was the episode before. Last week was the illusion of disease, and that was a powerful episode because I feel like that takes another step past self-responsibility in also saying not only is your health your responsibility, but it's not at all what we think it is. It's not what we've been led to believe it is. So when we step back, kind of analyze what we've learned up until this point in our life and why we hold certain things as irrefutable fact and whether we can actually do that. So this podcast is really about breaking down some of your barriers of belief systems and questioning what you've been told. Because ultimately, we have to question everything in this reality. Everything has a possibility of changing or not being as it seems. And everybody observes everything differently. So when we have an entire system of medicine based off of diagnosis and treatment, yet that medical system also is responsible for some of the highest amounts of deaths in the country. I think number 3 of top deaths in America is from medical error. And then number 1 and 2, I think it's like, I know cardiovascular disease, heart disease kind of stuff is up there. And I can't remember the other one, but I mean, we have cancers and all this stuff that is the top reason people are dying, yet we're told we have the most elaborate and technological and best medical system in the world. So why are we so sick? Why is our medical system guilty of killing so many people? And why do we continue to follow this system as kind of the savior of our health when really they're not? They're successful at treating disease with medications. But in any of those instances, are they truly healing the issues? Reflect on some of that and look at the people around you and see what their health is like and what they go to the doctor for, medications they're taking, what they're diagnosed with. Are they actually healing their illnesses? Or are they just strapped to a medication for the rest of their life and continuing to add medications to their arsenal of drugs? And when we strip down all of that stuff, when we can take down the labels of diagnosis, we can really observe symptoms more clearly rather than having to attach a diagnosis to everything. We can observe the symptoms and see what part of your body is hurting. And the first question we have to ask when it comes to our state of health and the process of our body is, why do we eat and what happens to the food we eat? So why are we eating food? Is it for, enjoyment, satisfaction, comfort? Are we eating it for our emotion, to feed our emotions? All of that can really tell you where you are in your emotional, mental, and physical state. Because if you're eating for any reason outside of energetic necessity to support your body, then you're eating for the wrong reasons. And I would say the majority of the population is eating for the wrong reasons. We're eating for a schedule or emotions to numb ourselves because it tastes good, even though you might not even be hungry. I mean, so many parents do that to their children, where they force their children to clean their plate or eat at dinner time where you don't eat. Eat this food, you must finish it all before you go to bed, or you have to eat this plate or you're not eating anything else. Just think about the dynamics that we create around food and meat eating, and just reflect on why. Why are we doing this to ourselves? A lot of it comes back to generational traumas and expectations from parents, grandparents, going back generations of the expectations set on families and food, and sometimes survival mechanisms because you don't have anything else and you have to eat here or you aren't going to be eating. So there's such trauma around our eating habits. And that's such a huge part that is not talked about when it comes to nutrition. And it's really the most important part, because when it comes down to it, it's not necessarily what you're eating or how much you're eating. It's how you're eating and why. So let's talk about the 4 processes. So first we have digestion, then it's absorption, utilization, and elimination. So if the body is not doing those 4 things efficiently, you will begin a cycle of sickness. And it starts small and begins to grow and manifest into something very large. And I would say malabsorption is really at the core of most disease. Not a lack of nutrients. It's a lack of being able to absorb your nutrients. And that also comes back to not digesting and eliminating properly. So that's why these four processes all go together. You can't pick and choose. Like I talked about last time about the specialists. We always have our specialists focused on specific organs, and it doesn't acknowledge the interconnectedness of your body. It goes the same for this process. You can't just pick out absorption and say, I'm malabsorbed. Let's fix that. Well, it's not that easy, because the reason for malabsorption likely started with not eliminating properly. And then the not eliminating properly will back up the colon into the intestines, and that can push toxins back into your stomach. That in turn also will affect your kidneys, and then it'll affect your adrenals, and then it affects your lymphatic system. It's all linked together. All of it. It's not a one place focus of the body. That's why this type of detoxification is so crucial, because you have to focus on the entire body and its digestive process and the lymphatic system and how your body's working. So first we talk about digestion. So what is digestion? Breaking down your food to circulate it through your body, filter out toxic materials into urine through the kidneys, coming in through the colon, and then eliminating what's left. So think about all the aspects of just that part. If it goes wrong, the slope, the slippery slope that starts, if any part of that isn't working right. So This is where, of course, you can break down all your foods into proteins, fats, and carbs. But even at that point, that's not the smallest aspect, and it's not the most important either, because all of those are broken down into smaller, the proteins are broken down into amino acids. Carbs are broken down, they're starches and complex sugars broken into your simple sugars. And then fats are broken down into fatty acids and glycerol, which build, repair, and for emergency needs. So they all have their own purpose. And when we focus on specific diets that percentage out all of those things, the proteins, fats, and carbs, and make it this diet of weight loss, you're taking away the entire point of our food and what we use it for. And it becomes a focus of numbers and micromanaging. And then you become very disconnected on an emotional level. And it actually creates a much more toxic dynamic from a emotional and mental perspective, because it tends to become more stressful. And then you're harming your adrenals at that point. So there's so many toxic dynamics around nutrition. And that's why I don't even like calling myself a nutrition coach, because I don't even like associating myself with like nutrition coaching or dieting anymore. And I come from being a personal trainer. That was all I did. And I have such a passion around nutrition and eating right, but I see how toxic the entire industry is. And it's all about losing more weight, taking the right supplement, doing the right smoothie or drink or whatever it is. And there's all of these things out there for you to buy into that are supposed to be the right fix. And they claim to be the perfect solution to what you need. And while some of them have recipes of parts of the recipe of what could be right, they also have a lot of parts that aren't right. None of them, not one single diet out there is perfectly right, especially when we're looking at all of the companies that try to sell you these teas and smoothies and drinks and supplements and all of that. I won't promote any of them anymore. And I've gone through a lot of them myself. So I've gone into a lot of those and I've looked into a lot of them. I'm with Young Living and I still love their essential oils. But I don't do supplements anymore. I just don't. I look to the herbs. The herbs is the gift that nature has given us. So when it comes to detoxification, your herbs are what will support you 100%. And we need to understand that we are a link with nature. We're not separate from nature. We feel like we're always, humanity's been brought into this place of being in like competition with nature, like city versus the natural environment. But we really need to come back to feeling the interconnectedness we have with nature and how nature provides us healing and support, from the plants around us to the earth that gives us energy and frequency, and the sun that does the same thing and heals us, to the trees. And the trees are such a beautiful anchor for our energy. And it's a great comparison for us to feel into the grounding that a tree has into the earth. And that's how we can ground ourselves as well. Coming into like the chakra systems, we ground the same way trees ground. But coming back from that, I was going little tangents. It's hard to stay completely focused. But I mean, so here's the thing when it comes to the absorption. Malabsorption is one of the key issues that a lot of diseases are pointing to, and why so many come back to the idea of being nutrient deficient and throwing supplements on top of it. So that's where part of it is right. Like, yeah, you are having issues with absorption and certain nutrients, but throwing a supplement on it does not fix the core issue. That doesn't fix malabsorption. And it could, I think if you do like testing to test your levels, throwing a supplement on will show a difference on those tests. So then it'll be like, oh, look, you helped, your numbers are good, but you're still missing the root of where malabsorption became an issue in the first place. Again, the supplement becomes the Band-Aid. So where does absorption become an issue? Absorption should be simple, but most people's intestines become impacted with a thick rubber-like substance that we call mucoid plaque. That mucoid plaque is from the foods that you're eating and not eliminating. And it builds up in the system. And it's not any specific food necessarily, like to pick out one food and say, don't eat that. That's causing your mucoid plaque. While, yes, it could be part of what's causing mucoid plaque, it's not the only thing. Eggs, for one, are very sticky and cause a lot of sticky. It's almost like a glue. Eggs, milk, and grains, once they're, especially rice, once they are trying to digest in the body, they have such a stickiness to them that it creates a lot of congestion in the digestive tract. So this is why we need to literally get rid of everything that's not fruit and herbs. That's why it's important to go all in this way, because the more you try to pick and choose little things that we need to eliminate, you'll see little differences. I mean, obviously, if you eliminate grains, are you going to see a difference in your health? Yes, because that's one of the things that is causing an issue. But if you eliminate grains and are still having a lot of dairy, you're still getting a lot of mucus buildup from dairy. So you might see a little bit of change, which is good because you're going in the right direction, but you need to keep going. That's where the diets keep pulling people in, because you'll see a little bit of change, whether it be some weight loss or you notice a little bit of change in your health, whether it be numbers you're tracking or whatever it may be. And the reason you're seeing the change is because all of those diets are going to bring you into a little bit of a healthier diet, because almost all of them tell you to eat more fresh foods and eliminate the processed foods. That's the obvious link between all of it. And I would hope most people realize that the fresh foods, your raw foods, are what we should be eating the most of. Do you have to be fully raw vegan? No, but in order to strip the body down and fully regenerate, to allow yourself to come into a healed state of being, if you're in a state of illness now that needs to really be acknowledged and taken care of, you need to take the steps to immerse yourself fully in the detoxification process. It doesn't mean that you have to be raw vegan for the rest of your life. If you feel pulled to stay that way or stay as close as you can, wonderful, because that's going to be your best way of staying truly well. Not everybody can be fully raw vegan. I'm in Wisconsin, so no, I'm not raw vegan, but I stick to as high raw as I can. Winters, of course, are hard, but I have lots of frozen fruits. We do smoothies and bowls and lots of soups. And I've become very satisfied with a lot of that stuff. Just got to get creative with the kinds of things that you make. But the more you kind of fall back on those easy fast foods and restaurants and takeouts, the harder it gets to go into the raw food realm. And then after, so we did digestion and absorption, and after that we have utilization. This is usually between the absorption and the utilization is where a lot of the issues, a lot of people get the most backed up. Not being able to fully absorb and utilize the nutrients. It's not always about just the intake of nutrients. That's where the supplements don't benefit you. If you're malabsorbed, you can take as many supplements as you want, but you're not utilizing them. You need to go much deeper and cleanse the system that you've congested your entire life. I mean, think about how many years your body has been congesting and backing up. And now you need to strip it down and reverse it all to really allow yourself to heal in the most effective way. So then, I hope you heard that motorcycle start. I'm at my studio, and I have a studio next to a bar, which I don't mind. I don't drink anymore, but my dad's a musician, so I'm around the environment, or I've been around the environment. So there's a motorcycle right in front of the door. Okay, anyways. And then the last thing we have after utilization is elimination. And I would actually say that's where it all begins and ends. If you're constipated, you're sick. That's been a core part of my sick state over the years. It started from not eliminating. And it kind of started the most in college when I started eating too much pizza, too much, takeout foods, and really not eating much for fruit, if any. I mean, even just being a poor college kid, I just wasn't making the choices. I would rather choose the cheap, easy foods and move on. Lots of drinking and eating the comfort foods, all of that. So over the years, it's just gotten worse and worse. So now I need to, and the problem is if you're not eliminating properly, over a time, it gets more and more progressed in the deterioration of the digestive system as itself. So it's not just about congesting, but it also starts to actually, because of the acids that back up in the system because of not eliminating and because of the acid foods, it starts to break down the intestines and the colon and the stomach. And then you have the gallbladder and the kidneys and all of those things that end up being a specialist-focused diagnosis of disease and removing those organs is because of your starting with not being able to eliminate. You don't need to get any of the organs removed. Please don't get your organs removed. Know that you can reverse it, and you just need to commit to it. Anybody, please, if you are listening to this and you are considering removing an organ because of certain disease, contact me. Or even if you want to go direct to who I'm learning from, Dr. Morse Clinic in Florida, him as well. Wonderful. I know they have a lot of people now, and that's why we're, us who are getting certified with him are doing this work, because so many more people are seeking this type of healing. And he can't treat everybody. So it's I don't even want to say treat. He can't work with everybody. And that's why I'm stepping into this. And I want to be able to help people nutritionally heal and lean into a more intuitive, focused way of eating. Not only just healing what you're dealing with, but being able to move out of that, healing the emotional and mental, spiritual sides that have brought you to this place, and fully healing yourself back out and knowing how to move forward and not bringing yourself back into that state of disease. It's a full body healing process. It's not just the physical body. It's emotional, mental, and spiritual as well. So I'm going to end this one at that. If you want to do a discovery session with me, I am still running a promo this month, July. Please email me at jesscannell@gmail.com. I'm going to place links below this episode. You can find me on my website at The Holistic Frugivore, and on Instagram and Facebook. Both are Wild and Raw Wellness, which is my studio space. And I can do any type of, calls, just a phone call, Zoom call, whatever it is you want to do, or if you're local to me and can come in to the studio. Discovery session promo, $20. And I have paperwork that you'll fill out prior to our call. And we'll just go over where you're at and what it would take for you to shift in a state of wellness and fully heal yourself. And remember, it is your responsibility. Your health is your responsibility. Nobody else's. No one else is the magical key for you to heal. You need to understand that your empowerment of your health will allow you to step into that role of your own healer. So thank you so much for listening today. I hope this inspires you, and contact me if you would like to talk. I would love to help you in any capacity. Love and gratitude. Bye.